This video is sponsored by PokemonStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCG code cards. They are compatible with TCG Live, and you can of course get everything on the website for 5% off using the coupon code ZapdosTCG. This video is also sponsored by cardmarket.com. This is a European platform where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every single day, and you can do it as well. And you can use the referral name ZapdosTCG to help support the channel. This video is also sponsored by yourplaymat.com. This is a platform where you're able to, of course, create your own custom playmat. They have, of course, capabilities to ship worldwide, and you can get 10% off by clicking the link down below. So definitely check it out. Last but not least is Dragon Shield, the best brand to protect your beautiful cards. You can of course there's links down below for US and European people, and you can of course get your best quality sleeves available, as well as deck boxes and binders. Thanks so much for sticking around with the commercials. I hope you enjoyed today's upload. If you do, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button, and let's get this video going. Sup YouTube, it's ZapdosTCG here, and welcome back to another TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG uploads, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. Today we're going to be doing an early 151 set tier list. So the 151 set comes out this Friday, and I couldn't be more ecstatic about the set because it's actually way better than Obsidian Flames. Big shout out to LittleDarkFury for providing the tier list maker for this one. So we go back and forth. Sometimes I create the tier list, sometimes other content creators create them, but we can share them all together, which is super nice for sure. So we're going to be talking about the current meta game and what 151 will bring to the table, and what that will be for the tier list. Will certain decks fall off? Will certain decks get better? You're gonna hear all of that and more in this video. So if you guys are hyped, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. And without further ado, let's just get this video started. So let's start off with the deck that actually won the tournament over in Yokohama, the Japanese championship league, and we do see that Miraidon gets a whole lot of more tools. I am very certain I'm going to be putting this in tier 1 just because of the fact that it has the versatility now. You have the Mew EX, which can come out of nowhere when you charge it up with some flaffies, and you can also use Zapdos EX. I don't know if you've heard about Zapdos EX yet, but if you have Zapdos EX charged up on your first turn going second, you can actually KO 2 Pokemon instantly, because if you're playing Hawlucha, you can damage a Pokemon on the bench, and Zapdos EX is a card that actually slaps 90 damage, if I'm not mistaken, to one of the Pokemon on the bench that already has damage onto it, in combination with, of course, the fact that it slaps 120 on the active. So the Zapdos EX is definitely going to be an extra tool that the Miraidon deck now can use, and also can finish off some stuff, because let's say Raikou slaps 200 on something, you can finish that off together with a 1 prizer, and you're going to be able to take 3 prize cards in the process. So Zapdos EX brings some more dimension to the Miraidon deck, and Mew EX, I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but Mew EX is dominating in Japan. It is literally in almost every top deck out there. You can charge it up with stuff like Mirage Gate, you can charge it up with Psychic Embrace of Gardevoir EX, you can charge it up with Primal Turbo. In the Lugia deck, for instance, you can charge it up with a Baxcalibur. So Mew EX pretty much for 3 colorless energies can copy paste any attack that the opponent has in the opponent's active Pokemon slot. So you can copy any attack you want, you can boss something and then use their attacks, which is super nice. Sometimes Mew EX can even boss actually copy paste Moonlight Shuriken of a Radiant Greninja, meaning that Mew EX is going to be very good. It also has the Instruct ability, just like Oranguru from Sun and Moon. Draw cards until you have 3 in hand, and it comes back with free retreat. So almost every single deck in the meta right now will include at least 1 copy of that Mew EX, and that brings a whole crazy dimension to the format. You're thinking about, oh, is the opponent going to have Mew EX? I have currently a Radiant Greninja sitting on my bench. Do I need to slap down Manaphy because they potentially could boss it up and use Mew EX? So many great things in this format, and that's why I love the 151 inclusion, and of course Mew EX and the Miraidon deck. So lots said about Miraidon, but I think it's a tier 1 deck in the format. Talking about best deck in format, I think that belongs to Gardevoir still, Gardevoir has so many great things going with it, and now with the addition of the Mew EX, you can now actually punish Lost Box players that play Radiant Greninja, because you will be able to use Mew EX and use Radiant Greninja of yourself to punish and KO a couple of Comfies if they don't slap down Manaphy. Now you have Cresselia for the Lost Box matchup, Collapse Stadium. Some people might even play Penny because, yeah, Block Snorlax might become better in the format. But thinking about it, Gardevoir has all the tools necessary to be the best deck in the format, and now with Mew EX, a one-off, you're definitely gonna have so many things you could do with Mew EX, and that's super wonderful. You can charge it up with Psychic Embrace, and you can copy any attacks. Let's say, oh, is that a Giratina VSTAR? Oh, I'm just gonna use Mew EX to copy Lost Impact, and boom, you're knocked out. And I didn't even have to do all that much trouble to discard so many energies to go for Psychic Embrace, to use Zacian, or needed to find my reversal energy on the Gardevoir. So Gardevoir, still the best deck in format, has the best late game in the world with the refinement of Kirlia and the Ionis, putting the opponent to a low hand size, and I am going to be putting it as the best deck in format still. Okay, moving forward, what else can we talk about here? A lot of new decks out here as well, so let's get those. I think Wigglytuff is a tier 3 deck. It might be a fun rogue archetype, but I haven't seen that much success over in Japan, and it also is weak to path. Chien-pao can KO it, Giratina can snap it, Gardevoir with a bunch of energies on the Zacian or reversal, or the Shining Arcana Gardevoir can even KO this. So I don't know where Wigglytuff will find its way as a rogue meta call, because it actually can get a lot of HP. It gets 100 additional HP if it has a special energy attached. What does that mean? Well, yeah, Wigglytuff on itself, I don't know if you've noticed, but has a ton of hit points already for a stage 1 Pokemon. If we take a look at the card here, it actually comes packed with 250 HP. Padded up with that expanding body ability, that's 350. Add a V-Guard, or maybe even the new tool card, getting 30 additional bulk to stage 1 Pokemon, and you get one hell of a tanky Pokemon. But as mentioned, your early lead is with Jigglypuffs, which can get sniped by Radiant Greninja, and Lost Box also loves doing that, sniping with Lost Mine and the Sableye. You are weak to Path. Miraidon plays Path, can go straight through you with the power that it comes back. Maybe a Raichu can just one-shot this Wigglytuff. Chien-pao can one-shot that. Zacian can one-shot that. Too many one-shot machines. Definitely lost Tina as well. So that's why I think it's a tier 3 deck, Wigglytuff EX. It's definitely fun, don't get me wrong. It's definitely fun and might be better than people give it credit for. Then a rogue deck is the Venomoth, which actually confuses the opponent's Pokemon, and also you are not able to play any item cards from your hand during your next turn. So Venomoth is one of those Pokemon. I don't know if you've seen it here, but yeah, your opponent's active Pokemon is confused, and during your opponent's next turn, they can't play any item cards. So the cool thing with that is that if you're up against a tanky Pokemon in the active slot, they need to flip in order to attack again. They cannot play Switch or Escape Rope or anything of that kind, because they're item locked, and item locked decks have been fun throughout the history in the game. So it's a fun rogue deck, but nothing more, nothing less. Moving forward is Arbok, another rogue deck. Being able to make sure that the opponent's hand is 0. Let's get the Arbok with us together so we can take a look at it. It's actually 70 damage, and then actually that's not the attack that it's most known for, but it's the attack, 150 damage, and the opponent has to discard 2 cards from their hand. Oh yeah, sometimes when you have a low hand size, let's say you get Iono'd in the late game, you have to discard your entire hand. And yeah, we have like seen in the past with Malamar VMAX that disrupting the opponent's hand could be efficient. Arbok also is able to hit weakness against Gardevoir EX and Mew VMAX, which might on itself be interesting. I don't think Arbok EX will be its own archetype, but it's definitely something rogue we can mess around with. Then Blastoise EX, I'll put this currently in tier 2. Because Blastoise is a water type, and water Pokemon have a lot of utilities behind them. You can use Chien-pao to find energies. You can use Palkia VSTAR to get energies onto it instantly. You can also use Baxcalibur to get energies into play. So lots of water support. You have Irida, which can find Candy Blastoise, and it actually slaps 140 damage for every water energy you're willing to discard from the hand, and you can discard up to 2 energies from your hand. So 280 damage output for 2 energies is great, and also coming back with that defensive ability, being able to take 30 less damage from attacks is awesome. Think about a Cramorant slapping you for 80 instead of 110. So Blastoise is tanky and hits a lot of damage. It's a tier 2 deck that is in dire need to get itself developed, because we have Iridial to find Candy Blastoise, and that makes it consistent over other stage 2 decks out there. Okay, Alakazam, another rogue deck. I want to be putting it in rogue, even though it might surprise people. Let's put it in tier 3 for now. I think people will try it out, definitely in combination with Klefki, shutting down all basic Pokemon, their abilities, or maybe Mimikyu being immune from damage from V Pokemon and EXs altogether, while you are able to attack from the bench. Alakazam comes back with an attack that is able to get utilized even if it's on the bench. So if Alakazam has 2 Psychic Energies attached, and even if it's on the bench, you can attack with it. So it's the very first time that the Pokemon TCG is doing something like this, and that's going to be fantastic to test out all sorts of wall Pokemon in the active slot that the opponent has trouble dealing with, while you just attack with Alakazam. So as mentioned, Klefki is one of the Pokemon I'm mentioning, as well as Mimikyu. So lots of cool Pokemon here already in the tier list. This is a tier list prediction, by the way, so it's not 100% confirmed that this will be the exact same way the meta will develop, but it gets yourself an idea of how it goes. Tyranitar becomes a tier 3 deck instead of a rogue deck with the help of Dodrio. Dodrio has the ability draw a card if you put 1 damage counter on Dodrio. That actually means that you have a damaged Pokemon on the bench, meaning Tyranitar can actually hit for that 250 damage output, if I recall. So that with a choice belt can hit the V-Stars. You're a lightning type, you can hit Lugia. It's definitely going to be a tanky Pokemon with 340 HP. Using fighting type energies, so you might even add in Galarian Zapdos V as a one-off. So this becomes an archetype. Is it going to be very good? Probably not, but it is better than it is right now because of that Dodrio. Moving forward, there is of course the way you're going to be able to play let's see here, chien-pao. You can also add in, I think chien-pao is a solid tier 2 deck, always has been. Always love playing tier 2 decks regardless. So tier 2 decks can win tournaments, but they're a little bit clunky from time to time. And now the chien-pao decks can actually add in that Mew EX, which definitely helps, not only as an Iono proof kind of thing, like you can slap down Mew if a deck is not playing Path and you're afraid to get an Iono 2-1 card. Mew can draw back up, which is nice, so that is a safety net you can have. And Mew EX can also copy paste attacks. You can set it up with a Baxcalibur instantly. Alright, now the deck that won the Barcelona special event, also being able to do very well at Worlds, is the Rapid Strike box. Is that a tier 1 deck or is it a tier 2 deck? For now, I'll put it in. It did win the tournament, has some polarizing matchups across the board, still being weak to Mew. Mew VMAX that is, and also Mew EX being in a lot of decks out there can hit Urshifu. Now for the Gale Trust, it's still not going to knock it out though, so that's why I think Urshifu is still tanky, 330 HP, you have sniping capabilities. I don't mind putting this in a tier 1 position because of the results it already has. Then Charizard deck with Arceus and Pidgeot is tier 2 for sure. Also put the other Charizards. I'll put all the Charizards in tier 2 here. Even the Lost Zone box deck that got like 3rd place. All these Charizards are tier 2 decks, even though I think one is better than the other. For me personally, I don't mind putting one of these in tier 3 because the other one outperformed. So I'll put I don't know, people will be mad about this, but I haven't seen that much result quite yet. The Charizard with the Curly and the Gallade did really well in Japan. I'll put this one currently in tier 3, even though it is actually a very solid deck out there, but has some troubles setting up. If you set up, it's probably one of the best decks in the format, but maybe, let's just put it in tier 2 for now. Okay, moving forward, Mew VMAX is still dominant as ever before. You have Meloetta. You can of course get copy pasted, but who cares about that, because the only thing they can copy paste is actually Max Miracle, so you don't mind that at all. So the cool thing is that people can now actually copy paste Techno Blast if they boss up a Genesect, so they can actually knock out stuff like the Genesect with a Mew EX. But Mew VMAX is still a solid tier 1 deck, and if you're not packing Drapion or if you're not packing Spiritomb, you're gonna be sorry for sure. The other Miraidon deck, I'll put that in tier 3. Miraidon Regieleki hasn't been performing all that well, so I'll put it in tier 3. Rogue is the United Wings deck. did saw some minor success. I think it was at NEIC, but let's be honest, it is a rogue deck, nothing more, nothing less. There's way too many sniping decks out there, and talking about sniping decks, let us put the Turbo Lost Box in tier 1 as well. Being able to, of course, do the Dragonite attack, turn 1 going second, or using Greninja, or of course, there's so many capabilities with that Turbo Lost Box that is definitely tier 1. Lugia single strike, also tier 1 for me, although in the West people are actually making sure that the Lugia deck is played with more colorless energies, like with the Mew EX instead. Maybe that is the preferred way. I'll put them both in tier 1 because Lugia is very great for sure. The Lugia Aerodactyl, it's still Lugia, so tier 2, and a Lugia with like Kangaskhan. I don't know why you would put that Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan actually allows you to flip 4 coins for every head, 100 damage, but that's just YOLO behavior, and I'll put that. It's a Lugia deck, so it performs very well. You have Snorlax, you have the archetypes, so cannot put that any lower. Moving forward, yes, Lostina is another one of those best deck in format. It's fighting with Gardevoir currently as one of the better decks in the format. Which one is the best one out of the bunch? Let me know, because it's always like those battling it out for the most versatile and most strongest late game as well as early game in the game right now, and that's like Gardevoir and the Lost Tina. So those are very strong decks in the format. Mew with DTE, I'll put that in tier 3 because there's still so much Mew hate around with DTE, with Fusion Mew being strong. That means Drapion's around and Spiritomb, and if people are playing Spiritomb, DTE is almost unplayable. Arceus decks, I'll put that in tier 3. This is the first time I'm putting Arceus in tier 3 since I did tier list, but let's be honest, it hasn't performed all that well. It is weak to Charizard, it is weak to chien-pao, it gets slapped by Mew VMAX, it sometimes loses to Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX in the early phase of the game, and Miraidon can KO it, and Arceus as well. So Arceus not performing all that well, so the only variant that I'll put in tier 2 is Arctina, because I still think Arctina has Judge Path and all that shenanigans. The other ones are just like, yeah, you're countering special energies, but in the format, not a lot of special energies are around, so I'll put these in tier 3. Arc-Pidgeot also in tier 3, I suppose. Argudra, same story. All these Arc builds, I put in tier 3 just because they are not well positioned in the meta right now. I don't suggest people playing Arc decks in the next format as well. Not only is all the other decks faster, Miraidon can get an attack off turn 1. Same goes for Turbo Lost Box, Mew VMAX. When Lugia can get into the game, it slaughters Arceus as well. So that's why we are putting these here. Alright, there's also the Charizard, which you can combine with the other Charizard, but I personally wouldn't do that. I put that in tier 3. Yeah, personally, I'd do that, so don't pair it up with this other Charizard. That's just asking for clunkiness all around. Darkrai is a unique rogue deck, but it will only become potentially good when, of course, we get that Salamence looking Paradox Pokemon which can one-shot. Palkia is a solid tier 2 deck and is actually on par with the chien-paos of the world. Charizard Lost Box hasn't performed all that well, weak to Iono, but it's still underplayed at the moment, but in favor of Turbo Lost Box, currently in tier 3. Goodra also sliding his way in that tier 3 slot. Haven't seen a lot of Goo all around. There was a Japanese player that combined it with like Zamazenta and stuff. Kyogre Lost Box. I think the Turbo version is still better, but it's still belonging here on tier 2, the higher end. Then tier 3 deck is Meowscarada. I'll put some of these decks in Rogue, like Alakazam I'll put in Rogue. For the rest, this seems okay. I think Tyranitar also becomes Rogue, and Meowscarada also. Like for tier 3, these are actually decks that could win tournaments, like the Goo, the Arc, the DTE Mew, Miraidon, maybe Wigglytuff as an anti-meta pick, but this is currently where we're at right now with the current situation, being 2 best decks in the format, battling it out every single week of which one of them is better, but they're just so, like, they have so many options, right? With Gardevoir, you have the Cresselia, the Zacian one-shot, the Shining Arcana. Now you can use Mew EX. With Lost Tina, you have the Radiant Greninja, you have Sableye, you have Cramorant. You can one-shot with Tina. These are very strong decks and have proven themselves time and time again. Miraidon as a tier 1 deck together with Turbo Lost Box, Rapid Strike, Inteleon, Fusion Mew, and Lugia. And then for tier 2, we have some water stuff with Blastoise, Chien-Pao, Palkia, and a bunch of Charizard shenanigans, and the Kyogre build. Why I put Kyogre in tier 2 is that it's actually not that popular and it's very hard to play, and that's why it's not that popular, meaning you don't have to attack against it too much. Sablezard, then a random Charizard with the Charizard EX that we're getting in 151, together with a bunch of Arceus builds and DTE Mew in tier 3. And then for the rogues, yeah, you can see them already here. These are funny decks that we're going to be testing out in the channel, at one point. If your opinion is different, let me know in the description down below. Actually, in the comment section below, so we can get a discussion started. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. It helps out the channel so much, and we are, yeah, slowly but steadily creeping our way to 50,000 subscribers, which means the world to me. So, yeah, 151 will change up the format in that sense that Mew EX is going to be in almost all the decks. And Miraidon gets some more versatility, which makes it actually into tier 1 finally. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. And yeah, thank you for the sponsors as always. Links down below. If you want to create your own custom playmat for the new season, go to yourplaymat.com with the link down below. You can get 10% off today to create your own custom playmat, which is awesome. Go head over to PokemonStore.com. You can get 5% off to buy TCG Live code cards. They are always helpful to create new decks on TCG Live. There's Dragon Shield for your sleeves, binders, and deck boxes. Links down below. And there's also cardmarket.com. If you're a European player, definitely check out that website. You can buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. Use the referral name ZapdosTCG to help support the channel. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for some more Pokemon TCG epicness. Peace.